salsa tonight. It's just me and Candy Cane. Um, Candy, how's your week going so far?
It seems like it's been really busy. Like I don't understand it. I'm like I think because like officially all the schools are in session. I think most colleges are like starting or going to be starting this next week. But like the traffic down here, I can tell you, if there is a snowbird to be found, they are all over the place. Traffic has been horrendous down by us. Like
Oh, has it?
everybody's down here in Florida. Everybody's jealous, I guess. I suppose I would be too if I didn't live here right now. I mean, it's 68 degrees right now.
um,
How about you? How's your week been?
Pretty good, pretty good. I had a I'm not gonna lie, I have somebody that I've been working some requests with, and it's been a struggle to find common ground when I'm like looking at what I'm supposed to do and the roles for me, and this person doesn't wants just to be condescending. So like it's just exhausting when you're dealing with somebody who just wants to be condescending. And I'm like, honey, Chi Chi, no, no, no. You are not smarter than I am.
Yeah.
I am not smarter than you. Well, I probably am, but
I hear you. Yes.
I'm like, but you don't have to be rude. Like, and this person has like completely alienated like myself and two other people, minimum two other people in my team. And she's not on our team, but I mean, it gets exciting. But I do have, or exhausting, but I do have exciting news.
You do. What's your
So
exciting news?
I will be covering Radio Roll for the national championship game this weekend. So woohoo! Thanks, Chris.
Awesome. Ooh. Shout
Um,
out. Watch you
yes,
go,
I'm
girl.
excited.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and thank you again, Chris. I appreciate you very much, sir, for sending me the information. And I'm trying to open this up just so you know what I'm doing. I'm not
Yep.
ignoring you, I promise.
Well, and then I suppose I should say my good news is because
Oh, yes,
I
you
for the
should.
first time am gonna go to Super Bowl week.
Woohoo!
Yay! So Scott and I got credentials for the week. So not necessarily the game. We'll see what we can do with that and what happens. But I'm excited for going to New Orleans.
I'm excited for you. And
Yay!
I've been applying. I don't know if I'll get in or not again, but it's still up in the air if I'm going to be able to go because we have some stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm all fidgety, guys. Um, but we are, but I'm trying to plan on it, but who knows? So, you
The
know,
only thing I can say is that I'm really bummed because my team won't be there.
yeah.
How cool
So you
would it
want
have
let's
been?
talk
How
about
cool
that
would
real
it have
quick?
been if my team would have been there when I went? But wasn't meant to be. It's
Right.
okay. It's okay.
And no offense, but I am hoping your husband's team goes.
At this point, hey, you got it. At least one of our team might as well go. And let's
Right.
face it, his team hasn't gone.
I know. That's why. And Melfar Jr., I'm just saying, checks in my column. Just saying, Mel. Just saying. Um, but what about the games this weekend? And we'll talk about that one story we were just talking about off
Okay.
air near the end. But it
We get some big
was,
games. We
yeah,
got
there were
some
some
big.
very good games. It was very defensive heavy,
Yes.
I felt like.
Yes.
I
Yes.
did feel bad for Jordan Love. Like, I'm not going to lie. And then, what's the guy's name who has two last names on the Packers? Defensive player?
There was which one? Richard
Don't
Rogers?
remember.
No. The
Or is he on offense? I thought he was on D.
who?
He got really upset, yes, last night. Like his shoulder pads came off, like during play, and so did his helmet, I think.
There's a bunch of them that were upset, and rightfully so, because the team did not perform like they could or should have. I mean,
Right.
let's face it, anytime, and this is what I'm going to tell people, anytime a young team gets injured, has the turnover on the first play of the game, and I don't care who you are a fan of, that was not a turnover. That was
No,
not a turnover.
it
But
wasn't.
that's how it was called. But when you take that step back and get your wind knocked out of your sails right off the beginning, I'm not saying we would have won, but that put us at a severe disadvantage. And then all the injuries on top of it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It wasn't meant to be. It
Well,
was
and I'll even say, I know like our friend Jordan Long, who was on the last night of his honeymoon. Congratulations, Jordan. Best wishes, Mary. And Mary, you are in our hearts and prayer, our thoughts and prayers, because we know what a handful your husband does. And that's just remotely. but,
Mhm.
but we're very excited for you two and the future that you guys are embarking upon.
Yes.
But Jordan was kind of upset that the Broncos didn't do better. But I was telling Jordan, I was like, you have a rookie who came in mid-season as the starter. You'll
Mhm.
be fine. You
And they
will
did.
be
I mean,
fine.
I was I thought that they wouldn't start out strong, but they came in and I mean that's what they did is they started out strong and then let's face it, teams that are experienced experience sometimes wins out in some of those games. And I think that's
Yeah.
what took over. Buffalo is a tough team.
And it's a tough stadium.
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
honestly, my husband will tell you Buffalo's a tough town. My husband will tell you that Buffalo is the only city that has ever outdrank him. like,
Mhm.
he got
Yeah.
into a line he thought was to get into a bar one night. No, it was the employment line. People searching to be bartenders and servers.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
so then the line to get in was a lot shorter. But then he gets in there. It's a $15 minimum and it's a BOGO. And he goes to another bar. Same thing. And I'm like, you could pass the drinks out, right? You don't have to drink them all.
Yeah. But how about Sunday night's game? The
That
closest
was,
game of the weekend.
it was.
How do you feel for Jaden Daniels winning 20th rookie quarterback and
Oh,
you
yeah.
win your first playoff game?
I mean, and that was an upset game. And honestly, like, Jaden is something special. I forgot what school did he go to?
Oh, I'm not sure either. What
Let's
let's see if we can.
Jaden Daniels College. He went to LSU, Louisiana
Alice.
State University. Just saying,
Yep,
better than Alabama when it comes to quarterbacks. Um, but honestly, Jaden is something special,
he
and I'm
is.
excited for him.
Me too. Me too.
Um, he's got a bright star, bright light. And I'll say this: I think Jaden is that dude who, whoever the head coach was, would have had this year. He's hungry. He's this generational talent.
But
Like
I
you
think
had Cam, you had Lamar, you had Patrick. This one's Jaden.
I mean, kudos to Dan Quinn, like for taking him there too. Like, I mean, you look
Yeah.
at. I mean, come on, let's face it. As much as we all want to talk about Caleb Williams being a bust, he's not playing that bad. But he didn't have a coach that really helped him along, and that's why they're looking for a new coach these days.
So you want to hear something that I found out, and I'm kind of all over it.
Sure.
So my friend Dustin Tran messaged me today in IG, and he was like, "Hey, did you know Ron Rivera is interviewing for the head coaching position with the Bears?" I would love that because he was also part of the Bears Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
championship. He knows how the organization is supposed to be run. He knows how it's played. And in all honesty, I think Ron is probably like a lot of coaches have a lot of integrity, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Ron has more integrity than every other coach. That's just me. It's not a knock on any other coach. Um,
But does that
and
mean
he's,
Chicago would step up to the plate and hire somebody with integrity or not?
I mean, they probably need to.
Probably, but that doesn't mean they're going to do it. I
No,
mean, they're talking to Mike McCarthy too. Mm-hmm.
Mike McCarthy needs to sit down. He
Mike
needs a
McCarthy.
year off.
Mike McCarthy. The Bears have shown interest in him, and so have the Saints. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you hear about Bryce's new nickname apparently?
No.
So for those who don't know, I am a Panthers fan. But apparently Bryce's new nickname and he hates it is the Reaper. Because every time we played a team and won, the next day the coach or the quarterback was canned.
That is funny. That is funny.
Poor Bryce, because he's also that guy who, like, when he sees somebody else injured on the field, and this just makes me respect him a lot more. Like, he'll step away from the camera and the sideline and just like say a prayer, and it's obvious what he's doing. And
Mm-hmm.
for the person's, his NFL brother to be okay. And sorry,
Mm-hmm.
there's a fly in my office. Sorry. How's there a
That's
fly in my office when it's 38 degrees outside, Candy?
because it's not 38 degrees inside your house.
That's true. That's a valid
At
point.
least I would hope not.
we I don't know this, and then last night was such a great game too, but I'm jumping ahead of us, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. You can go there.
we'll,
That's fine.
we'll reverse it, but let's actually change topics real quick. I'm not going to go into much because our queen of hoop isn't here, and I know she would not partake in this as well. But last week we had the biggest upset in women's hoops, and not only the ACC but the NCAA, when Pitt came back over SMU from a 38-point deficit to win the game, and that doesn't
Easy.
happen.
No.
I don't even know if that's happened in men's basketball.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know either. That was the largest. Like they shut them down in the third quarter. They didn't allow anything.
D, my brother, I know you know that our defense was struggling because we were missing our biggest players this past year on D, with Shaq out all season, with um Derek Brown out after what, the New Orleans game. Adam Thielen, oh, that's offense defense. Then Sam Franklin Jr. was out. He's D and special teams for a long time. Our D took a beating at the beginning of the season, but
Mm-hmm.
you know what, Dimitri, we did go toe to toe with several of the best ones. However, I do want to know what Jerry Jones has over David Tepper. I'm just wondering, because some of that stuff just don't make sense. Just saying. But
Yeah.
okay, what about your Jags? Who do you think is going to be the next coach there?
There's a small possibility Ben Johnson.
You think?
I know that he's interviewed for it, so I think they need to bring somebody in to help Trevor because they gave Trevor Lawrence such a huge contract that they need someone that can help really mold him and help him. And look what Ben Johnson has done in Detroit. Like he's done really good things. So I could
Yeah.
see it. It has to be the right situation though for Ben to really leave it because I know he really loves Detroit. His family likes Detroit and everything they've stood for. So it would have to be a spectacular opportunity for him, an offer
Right.
for him to move the whole family. But why not Jacksonville, Florida, no state income tax. There are some benefits to living down here and what people call paradise. So
Are you one of those people? Except during the summer.
I don't know if I'd say paradise. Right now, it's it's not bad. Let me put it to you that way. But yes. So I don't know. That's interesting. It'll be interesting to see who they wind up with. Does his personality basically, but does his personality really mesh with Khan? And the ownership. I mean, because if it doesn't, they're not going to get. You know, but
Well, and another person I would like to see given another shot, and maybe Stephen A. Smith said this about Cam Newton a long time ago.
Mhm.
that Cam Newton is the only quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, and the Carolina Panthers are the only team for Cam Newton. I wonder if the same is for Steve Wilkes, because when you look at Steve Wilkes, when he's come in as interim, even when he was here with Ron back during and Chud and everybody else, like back in 2015, I wouldn't mind seeing Chud getting another shot, but I would love to see what Steve Wilkes could do with somebody like Trevor Lawrence. I really would.
Yes, Jacksonville has a lot of issues. I understand Jacksonville does have a lot, but you got to start with the coach, and you got to start
Yeah.
with the coach, and then you build. Basically, here's the thing that I'm going to say: who wants to coach with Trent Baalke as the GM? And that's the big question, because it's not necessarily what Khan or the players is. Will they mesh with Trent Baalke? Because I've heard stories that that's the problem, and I don't know why Khan kept him, but he did. So that's their reality.
So one thing that I heard that was really interesting is that it's usually better when a GM and a head coach come in at the same time so that they can grow together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then one other like this is kind of same topic but different team. So today it broke that Deion Sanders and Jerry Jones are doing a lot of chit chatting.
I've heard that. I could
I
there,
don't know that I see the hypocrisy so much there, but I don't think Deion would be a good NFL coach.
but what coach is gonna is going to be able to stand up to Jerry Jones? Because let's face it, Jerry Jones is in your face as a coach there. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
I
gonna
think
step out.
Dion.
This is weird because I think he was able to do it with David Tepper, but Steve Wilkes,
Mm-hmm.
he got us to above 500 during his time, and I'm a Steve Wilkes fan,
Right.
so obviously, and I feel like he's just got the short end of the stick.
I think Dion, it might be interesting because I think he might want to go to some place where his son goes too. So it might be a packaged deal
Right, and
somehow.
somebody was saying that in one of my Facebook chats, and I was like, okay, so what's the big deal? Because in all honesty, like if you or I had kids and we could elevate there's use some nepotism to help out as long as there's a need
Mm-hmm.
for that position, and that's any position. We
Right.
could we would do it. LeBron did it for Bronny.
Right. I just don't see now that, I mean, let's face it, Zach is in Dallas right now and he has a contract.
Yeah.
Can How many are they going to pay? So
Right.
I don't know. It's an interesting off season. That's all. Well, for most of us,
Uh-huh.
obviously, it's not off season for some. The playoffs are still going very strong. I let's switch it a little bit. A
Okay.
lot of people are calling for Mike Tomlin to be
I
fired,
know.
and I'm like,
That's not gonna happen.
no. And should it? Like, he's brought his team to the playoffs. What, last 6 times that they've been in the playoffs, they're 1-0. But how many teams don't even make the playoffs? So, like, what
My
is
team
your
hasn't
bar?
made it in the last 6 years.
Hmm?
My team hasn't made it in the last 6 years.
I'm just saying, like, where's the bar? Where do you set? And there's a different bar. Like, I get it. Everybody wants to win the Super Bowl. But
Of
where is the
course.
bar that you set that if your team doesn't achieve, that you start firing who, what, when, and where? Like, if they don't
Right.
make the playoffs, is your coach gone? Like, where do you set that?
Right.
And I think fans can overlook a lot of things and not look at the football basics. And what I mean by that is the coach doesn't isn't the GM. So
No.
the coach has nothing to might have a little bit of say in what team members they have, who they go out and attract
Hmm.
for talent, but typically he's given the talent and he has to do with what he can with the group, gel and make it all work. And
Exactly. And like Dave Canales said that he was like when he came on, he was like Bryce is our quarterback. We're gonna play him.
Mm-hmm.
And he even said, he goes, if we need to bench him, we'll bench him. And you know what? He had the cojones to bench him when he needed to be benched.
Yep.
And it worked out really well.
Exactly. Exactly. So is Mike the should Mike Tomlin be gone? Well, you brought in two quarterbacks that were both starters in the league the last year.
But I think
And you made
Russell
it
is the
work.
issue.
Hmm?
This year, I think Russell is the issue. There has been one coach for Russell Wilson
Mm-hmm.
who could speak Russell Wilson to him, and that was Pete Carroll. Then they fell out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Adam wants to talk a little CFB national championship. I don't know, Adam. What do you think? I think
Yeah.
by two, by like 14 points.
You
What do you
think
think,
two
Candy?
scores? I think it's interesting because Notre Dame's coach has really coached them well. And so
Yes.
I would have said
Mhm.
the Ohio State was gonna blow them out big time. But I don't. I think this coach is really good, and I think it might be a little closer. I'm gonna say by 10. Ohio State wins by 10. That would be so. Adam, we're waiting for you to tell us how much you think they're
And
gonna win by.
here's the thing, people forget how good Riley Leonard is.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's good, and he's a good kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had the opportunity to interview him. You know what? I'm going to post that on my social media. I'll tag you in a little while.
Yeah.
That interview. I mean, he is a good kid, and it was funny because I asked him. I was like, "So, where's it harder to play football? Alabama, because that's where he was raised, or uh, Durham?" And he goes, "Alabama." I was like, "Okay,"
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, he it's just a okay. Adam's with me. He thinks 14 points.
Okay. Okay.
I'll say 14, but I'm not. I'm going to say with the possibility because I could see an upset.
It would be a big upset if Notre Dame took them down. I mean, but you never know. Like wouldn't count anybody out.
Nope.
Um, the coach for Notre Dame is actually interviewing. Well, there's speculation that they he might interview for Chicago as well. I've heard.
I
Well,
don't
he's
know.
four.
I just feel like you have to be special to go from college to NFL. I mean, it took Pete Carroll 3 times. Took Jimmy Johnson how many times? I mean,
Right.
no, Jimmy Johnson only once. He was that guy though, and he was a player's coach because he
Mm-hmm.
was a player. So I don't know. And my issue with Dion possibly being the Cowboys head coach, I feel like Dion's just too big for his britches in a lot of ways. I'm not a Dion fan. Sorry.
I can hardly tell.
I know, right? But I
Exactly.
don't care like if he uses some nepotism to help his kid out. Like I get that.
Who
Like Michael
wouldn't?
Jordan did the reverse. He told his kids he didn't want them playing basketball
Mm-hmm.
because he knew they weren't going to be as good as him. And that pressure to be as good as dad when you're Michael Jordan, you know,
Yeah, I get it. But most parents want to better their kids and want better for their kids. And so
yeah,
they will use whatever they can to help them.
yeah, you're right. They will. I mean, my parents do. Your parents did.
Hmm.
I mean, it's what
To a
parents
certain
do.
extent, I think, um, as I think and I look back at it, I don't know that my parents wanted us to have better than them. They wanted to instill the same morals and that, the hardworking ethic and stuff like that. I think they instilled that more than saying that,
Yeah,
that we didn't need it better than them because they didn't have it that bad. Like,
right.
we all think that we need to give our kids better than what we had it. Why? What was so bad about what we had? The problem with doing that is we're creating this entitled society of kids that think that they don't have to work because hey, they got to have it better off
Right.
than their parents and
Well, yeah, and like my parents like really instilled a huge work ethic in both my brother and I.
Mhm.
And like, I mean, we both work for big banks, and I know you're the same way. And that, like, I'm betting 90% of the time you don't take a lunch
Mhm.
because you have customers that need you. And
Mhm.
and it's okay because that's what drives people like us. Like,
Right.
we want to be there for our clients. We want to be
Right.
there for our customers. And we have podcasts to talk sports stuff about. Aren't you proud of
Mhm.
me? I stopped myself.
There you go.
Um, so I'm gonna let you take the lead on our happy story because we just have a few minutes.
So, our happy story stems from a really sad story. And the sad story is all of our thoughts and prayers go out to all the people that have lost, whether it be property, family, damage to their home, worried about their jobs, their homes. Obviously, the fires out in LA. To all the firefighters, everybody that's responding and trying to help them, kudos to them. And
Yes.
whatever anybody can do, please, if it's in your hearts, do so.
Mm-hmm.
But
Agree.
the story that I want to bring to light, and if you are an NFL fan and watched the game last night, like I loved, like McVay. I don't know if you saw the coaches, they had on those blue shirts and they said
Uh-huh.
LAFD. So they were there for the firefighters. But kudos to the Arizona Cardinals owner, Michael Bidwell, on helping the Rams host a playoff game. He was taught always a good time to do the right thing. So, what
I
might
love
be,
that statement, by the way.
me too,
It gives me shivers and brings tears.
it does. He said it might be a little painful to hear. Whose house? The Rams' house? And the Arizona Cardinals. So basically, what happened is they moved the wild card game Monday night from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, to the Cardinals State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, due to the raging wildfires in Los Angeles. They wanted the first responders to be able to do their job and not be thinking about, oh, we got to protect the stadium and the players and everything like that. Listen to what some of the things that they did, because it's just been kind of crazy. And mind you, they did this with an incredible short amount of time. They've served as a contingency plan for a lot of different things.
Yep.
But what they did, they went above and beyond. They scrambled to get enough paint in Rams colors, blue and yellow, for the field and end zone. To that end, 200 gallons were driven from a factory in Leland, Mississippi to Arizona, all of 1,500 miles, which arrived Saturday. The playoff themed stencils were shipped from Los Angeles. On a few days' notice, the team ordered enough food to feed 60,000 people, and they now have normal game day quantities. The Cardinals sent two Boeing 777 planes to pick up the Rams, their staff, their families, and their pets. They used
Oh,
they used Gridiron Air, a company Bidwell founded, to make it happen. It was good we could do it on such short notice. All the Rams equipment was trucked to Phoenix, arrived at the facility at 12:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. The Cardinals support staff was there to receive them and help them until 3:30 in the morning to set up their stuff and be ready for the meetings the next morning. The Cardinals cleared out 74 total lockers, so the Rams had space. For instance, Marvin Harrison Jr.'s locker is now Puka Nakua's locker. Ticket sales had been through the roof, as 52,000 tickets sold in 2 hours. And by the end of the first day, it was completely sold out. More than 90 suites were sold, as was all luxury seating. The team got commitments from over 3,500 game day workers, an incredible number on such a short notice. The stadium's game entertainment staff has been working round the clock to prep all the video board content and digital assets from SoFi Stadium and bring them to State Farm Stadium so it looked like a Rams home game. The Cardinals produce thousands of media and staff credentials to fit into their system. It is crazy how quickly they got this done,
Yeah.
but yet it's so inspiring because for a team to help what typically is one of their rivals, because it's the closest rival to them,
Really?
but to
Yeah, it
help
is.
them out, that to me is such a feel good story that they would do that.
Yeah. Hi, Willie. Sorry. Yeah, I've been like tearing up as you've been talking about it. I'm like, I don't know if you saw, but I was like,
I did. I did. I've read the story a couple of times so I can get through it, but it
yeah,
still tears me up. I mean, it's just awesome.
it really is. And that's what you do.
That is. But with that, I we do have to give a shout out. We miss Miss Megan and Miss Carrie.
Yes, we do. We
Hopefully
love you,
they'll be
girls.
back with us next week.
And thank you, Megan, for your help earlier.
Yes.
And thank you, Carrie, for setting up the link.
Yes.
Um, Now, Candy and I am going to be joining Candy and Scott on South Florida Tribune. So
Inside the
jump over there
pigskin,
in
so
the
jump
next few
over
minutes.
there.
Yeah. Hey, Willie. Yes, and yeah, Phoenix is about 5 hours away from LA.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Willie, if you guys don't know Willie, y'all need to check him out. He's on my Facebook page. Check him out. He's got great shows, especially if you're a Raiders fan.
Yes.
Um, Phil Jones, you need to check him out. I'm just saying, Phil Jones NFL. But um, yeah, I'm looking forward to being on your show, Candy, and I will
Yes.
see you in a few.
Sounds good. Jump over to South Florida Tribune.
Bye,
Inside the
guys.
pigskin. Bye.